On short-lived sitcom That's My Mama, barber Clifton lives with his mama and gets into hijinks with his best friend Earl. And in the episode The Witness, Earl moves in with Clifton and Mama after testifying against criminal Croaker Connelly. If he's not careful, Mama will kill him before Croaker does.
Battle of the Network shows. Join Rick Brooks and Mike Kogel as they explore the TV of the 70s and 80s through hand-picked episodes of their favorite and not-so-favorite series.
Welcome to Battle of the Network shows. I'm Mike.
And I'm Rick. Hello, everyone.
And this week we're talking about a show that we were going to talk about a couple seasons ago. Two seasons ago, right?
Maybe 2 seasons ago, I think.
We ended up talking about 227 instead.
Yeah.
Because availability went away. Now it's back on Tubi, expiring every month and returning every month.
Yes. I don't know what's going on with that. And let me give a shout out to my cousin Kevin. I think he was the one that maybe first suggested this show a while back. Well, we finally get into it.
Yeah. That's My Mama, the show I have almost no familiarity with. I do now because I watched a boatload of episodes. But
yeah.
I don't even think I was aware of it until fairly recently.
Even
though I guess it gets referenced in Coming to America. But
yeah, it had a DVD release, actually, which I think they're out of print now. Maybe they're not out of print, but it did get released on DVD, oddly enough, maybe like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And has sort of been here and there on streaming, and then it wasn't. Right now, it's on Tubi. Not all the episodes. There's some episodes missing for a variety of reasons.
Really?
Yeah. There's at least 1 or 2 in season 1 I know that are missing. I think maybe they have all season 2. But yeah, so it's kind of just in the background there, like totally overshadowed by other like black themed sitcoms of its era, and just kind of there.
I guess it didn't. I mean, it only lasted a season and a half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like they overhauled the creative team and brought in like whole new producers and everything for season 2.
Yeah,
and it just didn't. You changed the premise of the show somewhat,
right?
And it didn't work, I guess.
I mean, I'm not entirely sure if they were ever matching the premise of the show or the premise of the title. Let's say.
Yeah.
I don't know if we said that. That's My Mama, and it makes it seem like that Mama is the sort of comedic center of the show. Like, oh, Mama's always going to get into schemes, and
right, and
there she goes again. That's my mama.
Yeah. And the first season intro sets it up and kind of explains that as if that's the case.
Right, and it's rarely the case.
Yeah.
She's more she makes wisecracks, but she's more the moral center, and it's Clifton. He's clearly the main character.
Right.
It's him and his friends getting into scrapes and scams and hijinks.
Right. Yeah. And this was before there were a lot of African-American faces on television, so it was still relatively new, but it didn't hit the heights, obviously, like Good Times or Jefferson's did, or even Different Strokes a few years later.
And it would have been Good Times was already on, right?
I think Good Times premiered the same season, maybe? It didn't take... Yeah, Good Times was, I think, started the same season, like on Tuesday nights on CBS, and That's My Mama was Wednesday nights on ABC.
And What's Happening was a little later?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would kind of come behind it. So I think it looks like the two of the guys that produced like the Sonny and Cher show that we talked about earlier, they kind of helped develop this.
Okay.
It seemed like there were a lot of people involved in it, but they're maybe not one strong creative force that we know of. And this is another one that I don't know. I still don't know a whole lot about this series because there's not a lot out there about it.
The only thing I know, there was a pilot they aired the year before called The First Family of DC or Washington DC, and it has some of the same cast. But they didn't, in the same network, but they didn't buy it, but then they retooled it.
Yeah. I didn't see that one. It had like Godfrey Cambridge or something, I think?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Instead of Clifton Davis, I believe.
Yeah, but like Teddy Wilson or Theodore Wilson, depending on your mood, is playing Earl in that, but then at the beginning of the first season of this, he's not playing Earl.
Yeah.
And then he is playing Earl.
Yes.
Like, what?
There's another guy playing Earl at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I really saw was some kind of interview with Ted Lange. And he was just sitting on a stage talking to someone off camera about his whole career. And he kind of talked about this and how they sort of, like, they wanted him, but they would say they wanted him and they didn't want him and they didn't know if he could play because he's older than the character. And then they weren't sure they wanted a character that street on the show, which was, he said that, I mean, the way he plays this character Junior is something he developed, in some theater thing. So he sort of brought that to the table, and they were kind of finally leaning not to doing it. And his agent said, Well, watch this AFI tribute to James Cagney tonight. And so in the AFI tribute, in this interview, they showed a clip. He, with a number of other young actors, received some kind of James Cagney scholarship. And that convinced them to hire him. But then even then, he's sort of like, I would just come in and do one line or whatever, or 4 lines, and until they figure out what to do with them. And he's like, but that was helpful. So when I did Love Boat, I understood, they have to find the show before they really figure out what to do with me. So like Isaac at first is not with the rest of the crew greeting people. And he's sort of like, they said, well, you're the bartender. Why would you be there? He's like, well, why is the doctor there?
Right. Yeah, I'll be treating you if anything. If you get Legionnaire's disease on this ship, on this cruise.
And he also did refer to, said something like, they didn't want to know if they wanted a street character on a black show, which means a white show. Because, of course, like most of these shows, all the writers. Well, I guess some of the directors weren't.
That's interesting. I didn't know any of that. But if I may, allow me to read from Harry and Wally's favorite TV shows.
I bet they didn't like it.
Well, this kind of speaks to that a little bit. They gave it 1.5 star out of 4. They did not like it. And here's how they describe it. One of the gang of ethnic-drenched sitcoms of the mid-1970s, That's My Mama tries to have it both ways. It tries to be progressive by presenting modern, educated, middle-class blacks in non-demeaning roles, such as lead character Clifton Curtis, a 25-year-old bachelor who takes over his late father's barbershop business. Meanwhile, the show relies on slight variations of old standby black figures, such as the domineering Big Mama, the title character who tries to run son Clifton's life, and the jive hipster, Junior, who's the Ted Lange character. And it says, like most of the other ethnic sitcoms of its time, That's My Mama seems a bit loud and forced now.
Some of that might be fair.
Yeah.
Boy, I'm really hedging right now. That might be fair.
Yeah, like I don't really remember. I think it might have been in reruns. Maybe BET showed it for a while. But it was really, I think when the DVDs came out, I think I rented some of it from Netflix and it was on somewhere, and then I watched it a little bit then. Like I remember as soon as it came out on DVD, I was kind of curious about it. I was like, oh, this is kind of like a manageable. I think they did it in 2 season sets, but this is kind of a manageable series. I would like to check this out, and I was interested in the cast.
Yeah.
So then I had seen it a little bit before we kind of dove into it here, but I have mixed feelings about it. It has its moments for sure.
I, on a whole, I think this would be a good comparison. Enjoyed it more than Chico and the Man.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
And they're probably in a similar category of kind of sitcom. Not just what they're talking about there, Ed and Wally are talking about, but I think just the style of comedy is similar. It might help that the whole cast are actors, and they're not. One of them's not a basically brand new celebrity stand-up. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, or maybe I just like the characters better or something.
It could be. I think the writing is a little sharper on Chico and the Man at its best. And I don't know, this show didn't really get the time to find itself.
No.
I mean, clearly, by the change of direction in season 2, they were looking for something that they never really got. So it didn't work. Yeah, for me, I don't know. It seems very like routine. And actually, the episode we're going to focus on, when I suggested it, I hadn't watched it yet for this.
Oh, okay.
So watching this episode really kind of reinforced what I like about the show and what I think some of the problems are with the show. But it's interesting. Like, I was trying to find some more information. I was kind of reading some like message boards and just getting a sense for what people thought about the series. And it didn't seem to get a lot of attention, but it might have been bigger back in the 70s. For like African American audiences, or like, hey, here's a show with people that look like us on there. But nowadays it didn't seem to get as much attention. But one of the criticisms I kept reading was that Clifton Davis was boring, and I was like, man, that's really unfair. I mean,
no.
I could sort of see that on Amen, where he's playing like a much different character.
Yeah.
But this is almost like a revelation for somebody like me that hasn't seen him like in the theater and like a whole lot of other roles. Seeing like, oh, the guy that was kind of like the stiff on Amen, he's a lot looser. He's more just like a young guy. He likes girls. He's kind of I don't think he's the problem of the show at all.
But no, I think he's a very good lead for the show, and he could be. So like on Amen, he was the straight man to Sherman Helmsley and Anna Marie Horsford.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Where he sometimes he's a straight man here, but he gets a lot of lines, and he's is involved in hijinks a lot.
Yeah, and he's not perfect. He's no saint.
No,
he makes mistakes. He makes bad decisions sometimes, but he's also comes across to me as very accessible and likable. I like him a lot on this show.
I do too, and especially in the first season. Well, they keep mentioning in the second season. I mean, there's interesting background stuff. Like he and Earl were both in Vietnam together. I mean, that's like one of those TV things. Like, with 2 people from the same place, what are the odds of 2 childhood friends being in the same?
Yeah.
platoon or
It's
whatever.
like, well, you enlisted together, so we're not going to split you guys up. Come on.
Send you to the same basic training. We're going to do all this.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
You know, but in the first season, like a couple times, like army pals show up. Well, even the first episode is kind of based around that, right?
I think so, yeah.
Which that one's a little edgier than some of the other episodes, but you know, I think that's cool. They get into, well, Earl saved his life in Vietnam and stuff, and that might be a little over the top, but you know, it's interesting background. Yeah, I think he's good. I think most of the cast is good. There's an exception, but I think it's the writing.
Interesting, yeah. Okay, yeah. There's the problem is not Clifton.
No,
the problem with the show is
Mama.
Yes, that's what
I wasn't thinking Mama. But,
I was actually,
Tracy.
Okay. Oh yeah. See, Tracy, I think is just such a minor character.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go ahead with
the characters are there's Clifton played by Clifton Davis, Mama played by Teresa
Merritt, yeah.
Earl played by Teddy Wilson, Junior played by Ted Lange, Clifton's sister Tracy played in the first season by Lynn Moody, and in the second season by the principal from
Joan Pringle.
Joan Pringle, yes, from The White Shadow. Mm-hmm. She barely appears at all, I think. And then her husband, Leonard.
Yeah, he's more of a presence.
Yeah, who's like a nerd.
Right.
And I find pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoy him.
As a good contrast to the other people. And I do, sure, yeah, I think they are playing with some stereotypes, but I think they have a broader palette of kind of characters than maybe some other black shows or ethnic shows would.
I think that's fair.
You know, I mean, Clifton, they do, I would say, middle class in maybe an older style of middle class, when working class was middle, I would say they're economically like in the bunkers level or something.
Yeah.
You know, they're definitely not, it's not a good time situation. I mean, they own their house, and he owns a business. And
right.
Maybe some of the other, I think that's that blend of culture. Like Earl is a little harder up for cash, or some of their other friends, and Junior is certainly more of a street character.
Yeah.
But that, like Tracy, when we do see her, is like she's in grad school, and Leonard's an accountant, and you know, the DC setting doesn't really bring anything to it. I think it's cool.
Really take advantage of that,
but they don't do anything. With
right.
It,
it's cool that they say it, but even 227 was more.
Yeah.
Like, at least you'd have, like, them talking about going to a Redskins game every now and then or something.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of that on this at all.
No.
It's just,
like, in the second season, they have some B-roll kind of footage of the city and stuff, and makes it look like Earl lives down the street from the Capitol.
Yeah.
So Tracy is they just don't know what to do with her.
Right.
She doesn't bring anything to it. Lynn Moody seems to have had a good career in a lot of dramatic stuff, but she doesn't seem particularly suited for this. And she's not in a lot of episodes, and she's almost there just as another, so they have another woman or something.
Yeah. It's so, like, it seems like sometimes they're going for, like, more like sibling rivalry, or them playing, for Mama against each other, but it doesn't come off it just doesn't work very well.
So for you, Mama,
yeah, Mama's the problem. Like, I did find, like, an ad, I think, before the show premiered. It was, like, a full-page ad that they took out, like, in the newspapers or whatever. And it was basically showing Mama. It wasn't showing the rest of the cast. It was, like, kind of thing. She's irrepressible. She's so-and-so. Like, making you think, okay, they're building the whole show around her.
Right.
But, like, if you think about it, I mean, does she really have... She's fine, and I think she won a Tony. I mean, she had, like, a fine career.
She'd been in The Wiz right before this. Like,
But in this show, I don't think she brings a lot to it. And maybe it is the writing, but she's just not as charismatic as Esther Roll. Or, I mean, if you're talking about this character, Esther Roll, or even, the Mama from What's Happening, she's not all that funny. And you're right that they don't build every show around her, but when they do build scenes around her, she just doesn't bring as much to the table.
Yeah.
I don't think,
I think that's
you can't build the show around her.
She's better in the kind of the dramatic stuff.
Yes. I think that,
like being the conscious and saying, well, no, you got to do this. Because, Clifton's young, and his best friend is not a ne'er-do-well, but
yeah.
He is a penchant for trouble, I guess.
This episode is a microcosm of this, I think, because, okay, look at the rest of the cast. You got Clifton Davis. We talked about how you and I think he's charismatic enough, to carry the show as more or less the straight guy, the center of the show. Okay, you got Junior coming in and doing his catchphrase, and just being, colorful and kind of excited. You even have some supporting characters like Jester Harrison, who we'll see as Raleigh on 227, and his friend Josh.
He was on Amen.
I'm sorry, Amen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Amen. And you got the great Theodore Wilson, who everything he says is great, okay? So then when you bring that in, you have the Mama character. And in this episode, it's really struck me. It's something like this in some other episodes, but in this episode in particular, she's just like mean.
Yeah.
Like almost everything she's doing is like put down humor towards, Earl's character, who doesn't really warrant that. I mean, he's kind of a ne'er-do-well, but he doesn't really deserve this level of like insults. And for that to be the basis of an episode, it just gets tired quickly. And if you're going to do that, these insults had better be really good, and they're not in this. It's a lot of lame. You can totally predict like the jokes like a mile away.
Right.
Especially like, they're kind of limp insult put down humor, which other shows did that a little bit better. Like the Jeffersons did like a lot of the put down humor, but it was usually, I think, a lot funnier than this.
Yeah. And Gordon Jump's also in the episode.
Yeah, I guess he is. Yeah. He's in some episodes that he's like a regular is
in the first season.
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
No, I actually found the first season. Do you find any differences other than like changing the theme song between the first and the second season?
Well, one of the big things is the first season, of course, Earl is a mailman. In the second season, he becomes a not very skilled barber at Clifton's barber shop and works at the post office part-time. I think there's even more focus on them.
I found that.
And Leonard being kind of part of the gang.
Yeah.
And Junior goes, which I think is good. He got in season 1. He pretty much just has the one bit every episode, except for there's like one episode where he gets to shine. I think they have a new friend for Mama.
Oh yeah, Helen Martin.
Who
was on 227.
Yes, and that character is just—it's one of the sitcoms. It's like Jack A's character on 227. Like, why does anyone put up with this person?
Yeah,
she's terrible.
She's almost got like Mother Jefferson go away heat.
Yes,
And
Mama had a perfectly nice friend the first season.
Yeah.
So,
I
it does seem to be a lot of trying to get everybody more involved. I mean, there's one episode, I don't know if you saw this one, where they're driving to a wedding in Scranton.
Yeah.
And they all get stuck in a hotel room together.
Classic sitcom.
Classics, and it is pretty funny. and it shows you what an odd array of people.
Yeah, I really think, and this could be, I'm biased by the fact what they did to the theme song.
Yeah.
But the first season just feels grittier to me.
Yes.
It feels more like, okay, we're exploring more maybe what it is to be, it's kind of like on the bottom of the working class and things. Whereas the second season, things are smoothed out. Like you say, they take the step of putting the characters closer together, even having Earl in the same barber shop. I think the relationship between Mama and Earl changes a little. They don't rely on that as much, but it just feels a little bit more smoothed over. Like they're trying to make it a little bit more generic, and the theme song really like brings that home because it's like a soulful song.
The first season it's a funky song, although it was co-written by one of the white guys. And I really like it. I find it enjoyable. And I was a little disappointed they changed it in the second season, even though it's written by Lamont Dozier, possibly sung by him too. I don't know, but I
thought it was Clifton Davis that sung it in the second.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe he does.
But, he was part of the Holland songwriting team that wrote pretty much every Four Tops and Supremes hit. I mean, a legend.
Yeah, and it does sound like one of those songs that
a little bit, yeah.
You could easily see the Four Tops doing that.
And it's very singable, but it's also kind of like not great.
It's different.
The production is weird.
Yeah.
I like that they show, DC in the credit or the end credits. They kind of show the DC. And
you got like a photo out,
yeah,
that kind of thing where you know.
And I can't remember the lyrics, but I think there are some weird lyrics.
Yeah, but whereas like the first one, it's like Clifton Davis setting up the premise while that music is in the background, and then they just kind of like focus on like a spinning barber pole,
right? Yeah,
like against like a brick wall or something. Yeah. It's more stark, and it's just like in the second one, it's like, well, we need to do this more, and it's a little glossier.
Yeah, it almost makes it's turning her into like a more like a heartwarming figure.
Yes.
She's there to take care of me, this kind of stuff.
Right.
Those seem like small things, but it definitely feels different to me. And I think I preferred first season. And this episode falls there's like a big run of episodes involving crime.
Yeah.
There's like loan sharks, and
there's
one where a guy comes back for his dad's funeral, and he's in danger because he had ratted out Walter E. Mosley.
Yes. There's the gun episode.
The gun episode, yeah. It does seem like, and I think that's realistic. I mean, of probably any city, but if you go into DC, you go a block or something, and the kind of the vibe of the neighborhood can change.
Yeah, and that was like that episode. I liked it. Had like a discussion between Mama and Clifton, and it was actually something worth having a discussion about.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the issues that Mama has seem pretty trivial, actually. But that was one of the better episodes, I thought, and it caught me by surprise to see like it was handled as like the way it was. I mean, there were almost some really bad things happening in that episode.
Yes.
But yeah, most of the time it's not really an issue based show.
No.
But they are touching on some of this stuff.
I kind of appreciate that it's not.
Yeah.
Like I think that's as much a cliche of these kind of shows as anything, that it has to be issue based.
Yeah.
Like that if you're not a white person,
right,
you're always focused on issues.
Yeah, and I do think like the economic status of them, it's not really huge. It's more like every people's day to day. Like, yeah, there's the awareness that you're sort of like paycheck to paycheck, but like even when something really bad happens at the barbershop, it's not like an existential thing. I mean, it is sort of there are a couple, unless the episode's built around that, but it's not like Clifton doesn't really like. He's like, well, we'll figure out something, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Even when Earl does something that they get robbed or something because Earl's an idiot, So
that sounds like something Mama would say.
But for me, like I like the fact that they brought Teddy Wilson in, and okay, have an excuse to have him be around more. That works.
Yes, I do. I think that.
Everything else about it, to me, he's the whole show. Well, I like Clifton Davis, but anytime he's on, he's a riot.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about him when we did the Good Times episode. I'm sure, but
and of course, what's happening?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, he's outstanding, and he's very good in this episode too. And this episode, The Witness, it's like, this is. You can very easily see, I think, this is what works about the show. This is what doesn't work as much, and it needs some work.
I also think this episode has more white people in it than probably the entire series, every other episode of the entire series.
I think you're right. Speaking roles, too. Prominent speaking roles, no less.
Right, for, at least 3.
Oh, yeah, and the lineup scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that, but yes.
Which I think is cool. I was like, yeah. You don't need.
And you know what? It's funny. There's no, and we'll get into it, but there's no element of that too. It's just other than it starts because Earl makes a casual comment about it. No, it was some white. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was some white dude that I never saw before, or whatever.
Right.
And that's the only time that really like the race of anybody is even relevant. It's just the fact that it distinguishes this person and makes him identifiable as a suspect, which is kind of interesting too. Nobody comments on that. Like, wow, it just is.
Right. And it's not like O'Reilly is, and he probably is a racist cop.
Well, he's certainly got the stereotypical Irish accent.
Yes.
He's a bumbling cop for sure.
Yeah, he's a bumbling. It's an interesting show, though.
Yeah, it is. It is worth a look, and I find it interesting that nobody really talks about it much.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think it's been on TV a lot in recent years either.
So should we
into
The Witness?
We picked season 1, episode 20, called The Witness. That's out of 37 episodes. So, like Mike said, started 1974. That's My Mama did. Started 1974. Ended after about half a season in 1975.
Like on Christmas Eve or something.
Yeah.
Weird like that.
Yeah. So this episode premiered February 5th, 1975. It was on ABC. So ABC had That's My Mama, and 8:30 was a movie called All Together Now. It had John Rubinstein, Glynis O'Connor, Bill Macy, and Helen Hunt. And the premise was, it seemed like something like there's a tragedy, parents die, and there's a teenager who tries to convince the court that she could take care of like the kids so that they don't split them all up.
Okay.
So it's that kind of movie.
Yeah.
10 o'clock, Get Christy Love, an episode of the series based on or adapted from the movie. Didn't last very long, but this episode had like a bunch of people who were on Laugh-In with Teresa Graves. The star was on Laugh-In, but Johnny Brown, Artie Johnson, Joanne Worley, Gary Owens, Henry Gibson, all of them just happened to be. They did a little Laugh-In reunion apparently.
Huh.
That's ABC.
Was this about getting love for someone named Christy, or
that was her name? I think
it was
Christy.
So
Christy
it was
Love.
Get Christy Love.
She was like an undercover. She was a police officer.
Okay.
CBS at 8 o'clock had Tony Orlando and Dawn. Special guest stars Art Carney and Ann Mira. And from what I read, they did a Casablanca spoof, and I'd like to see that actually.
From that brief period, it was Carney and Mira.
Yeah. Yeah. Cannon. An episode of Cannon was on at 9. And 10 o'clock was Manhunter, one of the Quinn Martin shows that did not do very well. Period piece from set in the 1930s with Ken Howard as a bounty hunter. NBC had Little House on the Prairie at 8. So this was maybe one of the big That's My Mama killers was Little House, which was in its first season but doing well on NBC. The episode was Circus Man, which had Red Buttons as a circus man of the title. Lucas Tanner at 9. I think we've talked about that before. That was David Hartman was a writer who becomes like a school teacher. A very sensitive, intelligent drama, which of course didn't last.
Yeah.
And then Petrocelli with Barry Newman as a lawyer in the Southwest. That was at 10. So, yes, Wednesday, February 5th, 1975.
All right. And this episode opens with Tracy arriving at their house. So she doesn't live there. Of course, she's married to Leonard. and she's looking for her books for her class, I think. Mama doesn't want her going out in the dark tonight. And she's like, well, my class ends at 8. Lynn Moody goes up on every line like that.
Wow, I hadn't really noticed that. Now that you pointed that out, I'm going to have to...
and she thinks she'll be fine. And we learn later Leonard is out of town, which is a little disappointing for the episode. There's no Leonard. But,
yeah.
And, Mama's worried because there was a holdup at the deli this morning, the Weiss's deli, and there aren't any witnesses. Clifton makes some kind of analogy to streakers. Like an old lady.
Yeah.
If there were, it's like an old lady seeing a streaker. She didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
And then Earl comes in. He's got the mail, and they're like, "Oh, didn't that robbery happen at the same time you're usually stopping into Weiss's to get your free pickle?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh no, I didn't, because Weiss didn't have any mail. No mail, I don't go in." And then Clifton says he hopes it wasn't someone from their neighborhood, and Earl kind of casually says, "Oh no, some white cat I'd never seen before."
Yeah.
And then he walks into there's a doorway between the house and the barber shop, but it's all connected. So he just goes back out to the barber shop.
I want to point out something else that happened here too, because I think it's also representative of how the show changed a little bit. Is there's a little bit where Earl gives Tracy a very lecherous look.
Yes.
When he comes in.
Yeah.
And that happened, I think, this episode. It's happened a couple times. But that's something they kind of dropped, like Earl hitting on a married woman who's his friend's sister. His best friend's sister. And presumably they grew up together. And you'd think that they would have gotten over this by now. So that's something that is a weird element that I'm glad they would get rid of eventually.
They don't get rid of him being lecherous.
No.
I think that might become a bigger focus of season 2. Yeah, so they follow him into the barbershop, Mama and Clifton, that is. And Wildcat, who you mentioned, and Josh are there. And they're arguing. They're arguing about where they found Weiss. Wildcat says it was between the salami and the pickled herring. And Josh says it was the corned beef and the pickled herring. And Clifton asks, what's the difference? And one of them says $1.60 a pound.
There you go.
That's the other thing from season 2. They got rid of these guys for season 2.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. And this is a typical scene between these two.
Yeah.
And what's funny, again, like Jester Hairston, he's playing like an old guy who sows his wild oats 10 years before 10 years before he's playing an old guy on Amen.
And I think he was an old guy.
Yeah.
A rare thing from this period, an actual old guy.
Yes.
Who's old.
And he had a fascinating career too. He was like a writer, and I think he wrote songs and everything. And there's a whole lot to him actually. Other than what most people would probably remember him now for a supporting part on Amen, but interesting guy. I'd like to know more about. But for whatever reason, not brought back for season 2, and that was a mistake.
And then those two leave because they're off to chase women.
Yeah, they often have something where they have an exit line that involves them.
Yes, the widow. There's some widow, young widow that they're always.
Yeah, and some self-deprecating joke about maybe they won't survive the effort.
And then, Mama squeezes Earl's face to smell his breath for pickle. But Earl, he's still not talking. Finally, he admits it. So he saw the guy leaving from across the street. And Mama's like, well, you got to go to the police. He doesn't want to get involved. But they do convince him. They break him down. And so then we get this ridiculous lineup scene.
Yeah, and you know what? In one other thing I want to highlight, too, is one of his excuses for not participating is he's like, I'm a federal employee. I'm a government employee. I can't get involved with crime. And Clifton says something like, well, why not? It seems to be lately that's all they're into anyway.
Yeah.
And that seems to get one of the biggest woos and laugh lines, So, in 1974, that was kind of a big deal. So that's about as topical as the show gets. That kind of Johnny Carson joke about, politicians all being crooked.
And inflation.
Yeah.
Good prices these days.
Yeah, you're right. Very general senses about, the times, the big issues of the times like that.
So, they're at the police station, and there's a lineup, and, that's a classic sitcom thing, the lineup. Mm-hmm. But they're there's zero anonymity.
Right. I know. He's right there.
The guys in the lineup are on a stage, and then they're sitting in some wooden chairs right in front of them. Talking as if they can't be heard.
Yes. While they're still standing there. Yeah, they're reacting to everything that they're saying.
I know. And the lineup guys come out, and they all look shady, but there's one giant bald dude in the middle of them, and And that gets a good laugh, too, just him walking out. And first, Earl's like, points him out. He's like, yeah, that's the guy. And then the detective or whatever says, oh, good. That's Croaker Connelly. We've been trying to get him. He loves choking people. And Earl's like, oh, well, I don't know then.
Yeah.
You know? And then they're like, cops, like, well, with your testimony, we can put him away for 60 years. And Earl gets really cocky, like walks up to Croaker Connelly, announces his full name and Earl Chambers. It's absurd.
Yeah.
It's funny, but
yes, it is a total farce.
Yeah. And Croaker Connelly is got that guy's name.
Yeah, he's like a Hawaiian actor. Actually.
Yes, and played obviously a lot of big dudes like that. But he might have been in a James Bond. I don't know.
Yeah, he looked familiar to.
He was on Partridge Family,
but I think it was because he was on
the Monkeys. Monkeys, yeah.
I think it's because I couldn't tell you like specific parts that he played, but he's just got such a distinctive look.
He's like a Tor Johnson.
Yeah, totally.
And so then we cut to a few weeks later, or a month later or something, and there's a party on the day of the trial and at Mama's house. They're all waiting for Earl and Clifton to come back from the trial. And they arrive, and someone points out that Mr. Weiss couldn't be there, but he sent a pickle.
Yeah, that's classy.
And Earl, again, is very, very confident. He tells the story of the courtroom with great gusto. Everyone's legitimately proud of him for doing the right thing. And
he does this nice bit. Is this the part where he's doing a nice bit where he tells? I don't want to say Clifton. You go to, and every time Clifton starts to tell him, Earl interrupts him and starts telling it himself. Right, which is a nice bit.
And apparently in the courtroom, he once again got in Croaker Connelly's face.
In the courtroom.
Yeah. And then Junior arrives, and so he always comes in, ooh-wee, and this particular one is not all that funny, but is playing the role that he often does, which is almost like a messenger in a play,
yes.
like showing up and like, oh, here's the real scoop.
Yeah, a lot of times it's the word in the street.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like him revealing some secret that someone didn't want revealed.
Yeah.
And I want to get, because I do enjoy those moments when he comes in, as ridiculous as they are. But in the hero episode I mentioned, where he gets a highlight, he has to pretend to be a preacher at a funeral.
Oh yeah, that was his big.
And he keeps. At one point, he says something, and then he's surprised that he said it. Like he does a look like, "Whoa,
right?
That's not right."
Yeah.
And it really is a nice showpiece for him.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, one of the better afros we've seen on his Junior's hair is some of the better hair that we've seen in quite some time. I would say.
Well, he's got a good barber.
Yeah, well, that's true. It's funny because I don't know if we really see him in the chair.
No,
or really much of anybody, actually. But yeah,
not usually. No.
I wonder if are we sure that Clifton takes care of him, or if did he go to some other fancier place?
That would be funny. But he's supposed to be like 18 or something. And the second season, he's in college. And then we didn't mention this, but there was an attempt at like a That's My Mama Now.
Oh yeah.
Where he was the main character.
Yeah, that
he's
was.
a lawyer.
That was an interesting. I guess when What's Happening Now did surprisingly well.
Yeah.
As a syndicated like revival of that show.
Right.
Somebody had the bright idea to do the same with That's My Mama.
But it didn't go beyond a pilot, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's. I thought that was bizarre. Yeah.
I mean, everybody in the neighborhood calls her Mama, but she's not his Mama.
Yeah, even Officer O'Reilly calls her Mama. I did find that funny.
Anyway, at the party, he comes in and he explains that in his way that Croaker's lawyer got Croaker released, and Earl faints.
Yeah, and they rely on him to do a lot of this, like you said, this kind of exposition stuff and advancing the story. But because he does it in an entertaining way and quickly, you have to be impressed with him because he's talking about, you were good. Because Earl says, wait a minute, didn't I? Yeah, you were good, but his lawyer was better, and he's like going on. He starts doing all the what fors and the what ams and the heretofores and and it's a pretty good way of giving this information to everybody and moving the story along.
And I mean, I don't know about life on the street, but I feel like there are probably people there who always know what's going on.
Yeah.
Huggy Bear.
Right, of course.
Just, I don't know, the town gossip, whoever.
Yeah. Well, the Helen Martin character from 227, she knew what was going on in everybody's business.
That's right. She had the prime real estate looking out the window.
Except her nephew. Sometimes she didn't really know what he was up to.
Yeah.
It was like the one area that she wasn't always on top of, unfortunately.
Yeah. So the next scene takes place in the barbershop, and Clifton is worried because he hasn't seen Earl in 3 days, and Mama suggests he join the Foreign Legion. And this sets up one of her insults. I mean, Clifton kind of insults him. It's like, Earl wouldn't join the Salvation Army, which is weird since he was in the army with him. But
yeah,
You know, and Mom was like, why not? Looks like that's where he gets his clothes.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
And then Earl shows up in disguise.
Yeah.
He's got like a really long fake beard, shades, a hat, a trench coat, and a cane, and everybody recognizes him.
Yeah. One of those things where like, oh, nobody will be able to,
Yeah.
you know, oh, hi, Earl, you know.
Right.
Mama casually sees him right away. Yeah, and then they say something like, you get like a sequence here of very, very easy jokes. Like Clifton or somebody says, only a moron wouldn't recognize, you know,
Yes.
Earl in that get up, and then
O'Reilly comes in.
walks in the door at that moment.
Yeah, and Mama says, again, we're proud of you even though you look stupid. She gets to the point.
Yeah. She doesn't mince words with Earl.
That's my mom. She gets to the point.
Yeah.
So Earl keeps he keeps pulling the shade down on the window on the door, and O'Reilly thinks it's all silly until he finds out why. Because the other thing, O'Reilly has been avoiding Weiss's since the holdup.
Yeah, which is sad because
He's a police officer.
yeah, it's presumably this is a place on his beat. He knows very little about what's going on.
Yes.
Really, in the whole episode.
He needs to talk to Junior.
I think so. Yeah.
But then he's like, you know, he's scared. And he mentions someone like the last person that ratted on Croaker Connelly. It's too long a story, but he can't play piano anymore.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I think Mama will mind if I go out the front door.
Yeah.
He walks through the house. And says, hey, Mama.
Yeah.
Good old Gordon jump.
Yeah. You know, it's not much of a character, but he goes for it. And
Yes, he does.
He's good. Yeah.
So they go into the house, and Earl wants to stay there because he gets scared. He's going to leave through the front door also, and Tracy's car backfires outside, but that, you know, he thinks it might be a gun. And then he wants to stay there, and Mama's like, well, no, you know, Tracy's using the guest room because Leonard's out of town, and Tracy's like, no, I'll go home, and Mama doesn't want her to go home, and Earl's like, you know, well, I can't stay in the guest room because it faces the street. I'll stay with Clifton. Clifton will let you.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what he.
Wrong.
Oh.
It's usually Earl that says that,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. He says it that other moment I like. Yeah. Wrong.
And Mama's like, well, you can stay on the couch because you're not sleeping with Tracy. You're not sleeping with me.
Yeah.
So then, you know, I don't know how much time has passed, but a day or two maybe. But Tracy and Mama and Earl are eating dinner, and Earl is like chowing down, and he's basically eating all the food that's there.
Yeah, I wonder how much mail has been piling up.
Yeah.
While Earl's been staying inside the house, so
Right.
the people not getting their, you know, their checks and
Yeah.
and their bills and whatnot.
I know, he even quoted the oath earlier.
Yeah, yeah. How dare he?
Well, he's maybe from the Newman School of mail
Perhaps,
delivery
yes.
instead of the Cliff Clavin School.
Right.
And then Mama's like goes to get Tracy's favorite cake that they have for dessert, and she takes it off, and like most of it's gone or all of it's gone. And Earl flees up the stairs. It's great the way he runs up the stairs,
Yeah.
like really knees high.
Yes.
And then Mama, and she's sick of him.
Yeah.
And Tracy's like, it's all in his mind. What mind?
Yeah.
And Tracy says, he's let his imagination run away with him. And Mama says, too bad it don't run out the door with him.
You know, it is notable though that Mama she definitely has a different standard about her own daughter because she didn't want her going out at night. She
Yeah.
said at one point, she specifically says as long as Croker's on the loose, but yet she thinks, you know, Earl's being a baby for not wanting to go out.
Well, he's annoying. It's different.
Yeah, well.
And she's like, Clifton's got to tell him to leave. And Clifton does, but he lies. He says that Croker was picked up by the Mexican police. And excited, he thanks everyone, and he opens the door, and there's Croker, who starts choking Earl.
Yeah, he goes right for it.
Yeah.
He's like Mama. He doesn't, you know,
No.
waste time. He gets right to the point in his own way.
That's right. And then the cops burst in, not O'Reilly. No. And it turns out that Clifton had been talking to them, and they set up a trap, basically to use Earl as bait. And then once they have this situation under hand, O'Reilly shows up.
Yeah.
And then there's
and he asks, like, is he already handcuffed?
Yeah.
Timidly asks.
It's a bit of a weird. I mean, it's right in Clifton's wheelhouse to come up with a scam like that. I don't know if that was the best.
No, I mean, I guess it worked out this time, but they got kind of lucky, I believe. Everybody involved, really. I mean, it's funny because, like, why did they have to wait until he actually came in the house? I mean, if they were just trying to smoke him out, he's presumably...
I guess they wanted to catch him in the act.
Yeah, okay. Okay, now they finally got something to put him up, you know.
Multiple witnesses, including themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't need a lineup for this one.
No. Well, 60 years. He's got like 10 years to go.
Yeah.
We better watch out.
We'd better, yeah. You want to stay over here tonight, Mike?
For the next 10. Wait. In 10 years, though. But there's a little tag at the end. You're glad it's over. Everything's good. Everything. Earl is a neighborhood hero. And he said, Mama just has to get one more dig in. You can't have everything. She doesn't like Earl being a hero.
Yeah, I can't even give him his moment after they talked him into doing the right thing. Yeah, it was just weird. It was like one thing after another with her. That's like
she wasn't a bad.
All she really was for like a month and a half too.
Yeah.
from when this started. I mean, I kind of felt a little sorry for Earl, but he did the right thing ultimately.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what her beef with him is. I mean, he does it. I guess he eats a lot of their food. Yeah. When he's there.
Yeah. He if he was. Yeah, that didn't seem to be super consistent, though, with him, like, being a sponge or anything. I mean,
yeah,
it's like you said, he just annoys her. But, yeah, there's not that, especially in some of these episodes, there's not that undercurrent of, like, well, he's a jerk, but he's our jerk or something. It's just, in this one, she just, like, really seemed to have it in for him.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't call him a dummy, but she might as well.
Yeah. Like, there's other episodes where he directly puts all of them in jeopardy or, does something that really, harms them.
Yeah.
This one, he was just kind of being selfish, but...
Yeah, there's one with the loan shark where, like, Clifton almost loses his barbershop because of that.
Yeah, I think in this one, actually, I think at one point they say, like, well, why don't you chase after him? Like, chase after the robber. Like, chase after the robber?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see identifying him or something. Or maybe, like, yelling at him. But, I mean, it was like an armed robbery, I'm assuming, And, like, why would you expect him to go chase after a...
Yeah.
Come on. Give Earl some slack, man.
Right. They didn't know it was Croaker Connelly.
Yeah.
They'd seen him.
Right.
They wouldn't have chased him either.
Yeah. But the bottom line is, Teddy Wilson is great, as always, and just little things he does. We've described some. His line readings are always like he always brings something to it. Even if he's just sitting there, he's entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of episodes that are maybe even more focused on him, and they're okay. He's best as a foil to Clifton and stuff.
Yeah.
The two of them are really good together.
Yeah. There's like a second season one with his dad, who kind of almost gets romantically involved with Mama. That's a slightly more serious episode. Yeah, in the loan chart. Yeah, but he's always a presence. Mm-hmm. And it is weird that I don't know why they didn't like the pilot. He's a guest star as someone else.
Yeah,
and then the first 4 episodes, it's the other principal from the White Shadows playing Earl.
Yeah,
and then he comes back in the second season as some businessman.
Yeah. And then in the second season, this might be like a production error order thing, but like he just starts out and then it's like 2 or 3 more. It's like another couple episodes after the first one where they sort of have that conversation where they explain why he's why he's there. At the beginning of the season, he's just there.
Yeah,
as another barber
giving bad haircuts.
Yeah, in a barber shop that rarely seems to have any business.
Yeah. What's that other buddy? He's like a army buddy who Clifton moves in with briefly, and
oh yeah.
Is it Freddie or?
Yeah, I think that's like it.
He's around a lot in season 2 too.
That's right. Yeah. I kind of like it more when it doesn't focus on Mama. And there's some episodes where Clifton's just like frustrated because Mama, wants him to do things, and he wants his independence.
Right.
And that's okay too. Yeah. There's some elements here that are quite funny. It's not a bad show, but it doesn't always work like it should, and it's not really, in retrospect, it's not really surprising that even though it didn't have like super heavy competition. I mean, Little House on the Prairie was still early. Tony Orlando and Dawn, that was beatable, but it just didn't work for ABC.
Did you see the season 2 episode where Mama's old boyfriend comes back?
No, I don't think I did.
Played by the lieutenant from Starsky and Hutch.
Oh, I definitely did not see this one then. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, and it leaves a question in the air of who Clifton's father really is.
Oh, that's interesting because there's like another episode where they kind of get into that because like there's an episode where they
his
think
dad
that he may have had an affair.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't. I guess that surprised me a little how they don't shy away from the idea of like people having premarital sex or sex for fun.
That's true. Yeah, especially Clifton. They make that clear. It's almost like in a contrast. It's like I think they sort of imply that Leonard and Tracy waited until they were married, and it's sort of like mocked. Because of course, Leonard wouldn't have had anything until,
Right.
Yeah, but Clifton's, and that's one thing that, would be a realistic issue, I guess, if you're living with your mother. Is,
yeah.
And you're bringing girls back to your house, kind of, but he's kind of got to, he kind of tries to cover it up and explain it, but she knows, what he's up to.
Yeah. And I mean, like the first episode revolves around turns out to be a con, but a woman coming and saying that he got her pregnant while he was in the army.
Yeah.
That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And then they con the con artists. I forget how, but they do turn the tables.
Yes. I mainly just want to see, kudos for Teddy Wilson and maybe some justice for Clifton Davis. So I think I saw unfairly maligned on the internet.
Yeah.
Fine in the show. And interesting comments you made about the Tracy character. I agree with you. They didn't really have much for her to do, and just as an excuse to bring Leonard into the picture. That's pretty much her main purpose. I do enjoy the.
And even he was played by like two different people.
Yeah.
The second guy.
Yeah.
Whose name I'm forgetting now. Lloyd?
And the Leonard, I'm thinking he didn't actually do all that much else besides this show.
Lyle Wilson? I assume that's how you say it. Lisle?
Yeah, I don't know.
He was on Falcon Crest.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
And actor and writer known for The Incredible Melting Man, Sisters, and Falcon Crest. Not Sisters, the...
Sailor Ward.
No. Siamese twins at birth. That looks like a horror movie, too. I mean, I assume The Incredible Melting Man is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of credits here. What's happening now? Alf. Night Court.
Oh.
But he's Sanford. Also on the White Shadow. A lot of White Shadow crossover here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mel Stewart was the other Earl.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so I'm glad we took a look at this show. It's an easy watch.
Yes.
I think the episodes, a lot of them are syndicated cuts too.
Okay.
I don't think the show's been treated very well. Maybe someday we'll get archival versions of the of the show that'll restore scenes, and we'll think, oh man, this is there all along.
Right.
we didn't see all this, but definitely entertaining.
Yeah.
I'd say watch one of the episodes we mentioned. Watch a Teddy Wilson episode. You'll get some laughs out of it. Don't expect too much.
No.
But it's good. I think the first season is stronger than the second one, but it's worth compare the theme songs, listen to them. You be the judge.
Right.
But enjoy.
Yeah, I think so. And if you want to tell us your thoughts of maybe your mama.
Yeah.
Maybe she called your best friend an idiot. Let's hear about that on our Facebook group.
Yeah, it seems like a good place to hash this out is on our Facebook group.
Right.
Maybe it's still bothering you. Let's talk it over.
What do you think of Teddy Wilson?
Yeah.
It better be good.
Yeah, well, I like discussion, but I don't like foolish talk.
No.
I don't like nonsense.
Do you think Earl would have ever gotten in a scheme of bootlegging concerts?
I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I could.
Especially with access to the mail.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It maybe it would be more like people like using the mails. You'd unwittingly be transporting bootleg tapes.
That's right.
Yes. People could be like, they'd probably just be like dropping something in his bag.
Yeah.
And it would somehow get to its destination. Well, he'd just pull it out and like, oh, this is unusual. Oh, well, it'd be addressed to somebody,
Right. Then Junior would.
Yeah. He'd know right away.
Oh, wait. Have you heard this Doobie Brothers concert from L.A.?
What are you crazy? That's impossible. Nobody has that concert from L.A. Then why did I just hear
Shorty
Gary
Jones
Sandy singing?
Yeah. O'Reilly pops. I know him.
Yeah.
What is Junior has some girlfriend? Big.
Oh yeah, some like cartoonish,
like Big Bone Bertha or something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he went on to play like Isaac is a much different character than Junior.
Yes, he is.
Acting, it's great.
Yeah, that's why I can't imagine him Junior.
Oh, like in
as the lead, as the Clifton and being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess he's probably, he's matured. There was probably a Junior-like character. Maybe his own kid or something.
Right. Well, it's somehow reassuring to know that even 40 years ago, they were still so desperate for material that any pre-existing property was liable to be revived under the slightest pretense.
Maybe they referenced this episode, that seeing Croaker Connelly's lawyer inspired him.
Yeah, just seeing how magical he was in the courtroom.
Yeah.
He really hit the books harder from that point on and went to law school.
It would be funny to see this Junior doing in a courtroom setting.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? They probably would have made that happen somehow. He would have had to he would have had to be like Clifton's lawyer.
Yeah.
Or Earl's lawyer in a case, like a civil case.
Yes.
And so he'd be making big
small
speeches.
Claims court.
Yes, that he wouldn't need to be making, and he'd be constantly admonished by the judge.
Yeah. You'd have suspenders on for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they do That's My Mama really now. Maybe we can get on the writing staff.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
The brand new That's My Mama now.
Yeah, the brand new That's My Mama Now. Clifton Davis is still around.
I know. Caitlin Moody is, but I don't know if she'd want to come back.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there. It's the kind of thing. If this were a more popular show, there might be some juicy stuff. But I think I actually was. I think I did see something like it was just casually mentioned in some article that
I think they didn't like her.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Just like Mama, they got right to the point.
Yep.
Yeah, you're no good.
Yeah.
See ya.
Maybe I saw something like they told her she was too pretty to be funny.
Huh? Wow. Wow. What a.
I mean, they
hope
could
they
have
didn't
written
tell
her
that to
some
Joan
funny
Pringle.
lines. Yeah. You're just the right amount of pretty to be funny.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Oh, thanks. Yeah. All right. That's my mom.
This episode brought to you by Free Pickles. This episode also brought to you by Oscar's Barbershop. Don't ask for Earl. This episode also brought to you by the Earl of Sandwich.
Join us next time for another exciting episode of Battle of the Network Shows. Learn more, leave feedback, and suggest future episodes at battleofthenetworkshows.com. Follow us on Twitter at BatNetShows and like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Battle of the Network Shows.